Hey Aido, thanks for coming along to our next level surf coaching session. Hope you got a lot out of it. By looking at your surfing, like I said on the day, there's a lot of really good things about it. You seem very natural in the stance that you have with your surfing, and there's just a few ways that we can help you improve your surfing and just tweak up some of those turns so you feel a bit more confident and surf a lot better. So this is your training DVD. Hope you like it, hope you learn a lot out of it, and let's take a look at you surfing. So just looking at this wave that you caught at Bells, the pop-up's great, very fast, straight to your feet, and you're in the right spot. You just extend a little bit too quickly, and with the cutback you're not quite able to get back into the wave. So here are three areas that we're going to look at for your training. Compression on the pop-up, so you're staying longer. Your bottom turn, so drawing it out a little bit more to give you a bit more speed and power. And your top turn or your cutback, depending on what part of the wave you're on. So when you start this wave, your pop-up's really good. That's the position you want to be staying in for a little bit longer when you come into your bottom turn. And you really want to be coming all the way down the wave to generate that speed into your bottom turn. So you're actually turning in the trough of the wave, not halfway along the face that you're doing right at this stage. So a little bit more compression into the turn, and that's going to help you generate the drive to go back up to the top of the wave to go into a top turn. So looking at the bottom turn diagram here, the stages we've got to look at and focus on are basically your compression, so compressing further into your bottom turn, reaching and holding that position through that whole part of the bottom turn, looking for your target so you know where you want to end up, normally the top of the wave, and then you start to release as you come up the wave face. So here you notice Mick Fanning going into his bottom turn, a little bit more into that trough area on the bottom part of the wave that I was talking about. You see he's actually leaning off and reaching on the wave, and he's holding that position and only releasing now. So you can see how long he's holding it for, just under a couple of seconds. But those couple of seconds are really important. They really help you drive through the bottom of the wave in that compression stage, and like a spring they kind of release. So your key words through this are compress, reach, hold, target, and release. Now we're going to have a look at your cutback. As you come into it, you're looking quite good. You're compressing a little bit lower into it, which is great. But if you notice where you're looking, it's pretty much down towards your feet or in that direction. So we really want to start turning the head and looking back towards the whitewater where we want to end up finishing after our turn. The compression stage was great, but also we need to drop the left arm a little bit, open the chest up, and keep rotating round so you're following yourself until you can see the whitewater, and then you start to complete the turn at that point. You'll notice that you actually came out of the compression far too early and pretty much stopped turning at that point. At this point you're still focused sort of down towards the bottom of the wave or sort of along into the next section, but you could have cut back and made a little bit more out of that wave if you'd got back to where the power was in the whitewater and sort of started again. So when we look at the diagram here, as we're coming in towards the T-shaped hold, we're starting to put the weight onto our back foot, and then we come into that T-shaped position, which is a compressed position with your arms out in basically a T shape, which you'll see in the next clip. We hold that position, and as we do, we start to look for our target. So we're turning our head, turning towards where the white water is, and holding that position till we can see the area that we're going to come back on ourselves from the turn. So once we come into that position, we put our weight towards our front foot, lift our nose up, and then our board faces the beach, coming into a compressed position to finish off. Now let's look at a surfer doing the same maneuver. So you'll notice this guy's in a similar position to you when he first gets up onto his feet, chest over front foot position, and in a nice compressed position. Drives out along the wave face, holds that T position, comes back into the white water. So making a little bit more usage out of his wave. Okay, so we see him drive out first of all and come into this T-shaped position. So his weight's on his back foot. He's come into that T shape with his arms, and he's starting to turn his head and look for his target. He's come all the way around, and he's now just starting to release out of that compression stage. Once he's seen his target, his left hand has really opened his chest up from this position, so it brings him all the way around and back into the white water. Once he sees the white water, he starts to lift the weight off the nose of the board, starts to turn his head towards where he's going to end up, so with his board facing the beach, and he comes into this chest over front foot position, so similar to the first pop-up. So as we watch again, T-shaped body position, weight on the back foot, opening up the chest. Following it all the way through and holding that phase until he sees the white water. Lifting the nose of the board up, starting to turn his head towards the bottom of the wave. Chest over front foot in a compressed finishing position. So there we are. So that's the pop-up, the bottom turn, and the top turn or cut back. And those are the three areas we really want to work on. So what we can do from here is basically remember those cue words. A great way of doing that is to write it on the nose of your board, so you can jot down your little notes, and that way when you're sitting out in the lineup you're going to remember them in between the waves, and you can see them when you're paddling out. So jot a few things down for your bottom turn, your top turn, and it's a good way to remember that. So watch your DVD regularly and before you go surfing, and we'll catch up again soon.